Hello guys, I am back from another video and today we're talking about Deku was a super soldier. So in the last video Deku, after Izuku woke up, he started getting ready to go to his first day at UA, where Izuku met all of his brand new classmates, including the impertinent Bakugo. After that introduction day, which Izuku finished it with flying colors, Izuku started going back to that class, and at the end of the day, or at least almost the end of the school day, they were told that we're going to be having a special class known as Heroics. So, apparently the teacher for Heroics was currently at another mission, so they decided to bring in Aizawa for this class instead. So, after they were given their hero costumes, including Izuku, which is Izuku's old, well, costume back when he was called the Reaper, but except more modified to seem more heroic, I guess. I mean, still like dark colors, but at least it looks kind of heroic. And was told that that Izuku's opponent was Mr. Bakugo Katsuki, which Izuku defeated him using his brand new concentrated gun filled with this gas, but not the original like form of the gas which his original gun was using. Instead, it was a concentrated version which is not lethal, or at least not as lethal as his regular gas. So, after defeating Bakugo, Izuku left as he goes to sleep. So, let's talk about what happens next. So, after Izuku woke, or at least wakes up, Izuku starts getting ready for school. As when Izuku opens the door, Izuku was shocked and sees Miss. Wait for a second again. Miss Nejiri. As Nejiri says this. Oh, hello Izuku. I'm sorry for startling you. As Izuku just says this. Ugh, please don't do that again. Jesus Christ. As she says this, I'm really sorry. I promise not to do that again. As Izuku says this, "Ugh, don't worry, I'm fine. I'm not really that scared, okay? Ugh." As she says this, I'm really sorry. As Izuku says this, I said just stop apologizing. As she says this, okay. As Izuku starts walking off with her, as he started going back to class. This is actually going to be Friday because they're going to be going to the USJ very soon, by the way. So, after the class arrives, they were told by Aizawa that they're going to be going to the USJ, which is a special training facility made for heroes to train and many people to like hone their quirks. So, Izuku and the rest of his classmates were told to go into the bus as they started going to the training facility. So, after they go into the bus, they started talking about what are their quirks actually like. Everybody started talking except for Izuku, until Bakugo started saying, "My quirk is stronger because wait for a second again. I actually meant to say, my quirk is stronger because I'm able to create explosions with just my fingertips. So, that makes me a great hero, right?" As Izuku just says this, that makes you sound like a terrorist. Maybe Iraq will might hire you or something. As he says this. What did you say? As Izuku just says this. Come on, I mean, your quirk is just basically explosion, so I think that the soldiers in Iraq probably might use you for something else. As he says this, "Oh, you've done it now." As he starts cracking his fingers or his knuckles to get ready to punch him, but Izuku tells him to stop before he might get a little bit rough. As everybody tells Izuku and Baku to stop, as Izuku just sits back down. As Ochako, being one of Izuku's classmates, asks, "What actually happened to your legs and arms? And what is your quirk, actually?" As Izuku just explains, like, clearly. So, if you want to talk about my quirk, uh, fine. My quirk was actually not really my quirk. I was given to that, or at least forced, by Mr. Overhaul. As Kaminari says this. Wait, do you mean the Yakuza leader, like that Overhaul? As Izuku just says this. Yeah, after adopting me from that horrible, horrible orphanage, he experimented on me, ripping off my arms and giving me this stolen quirk from All For One, the number one villain. As they say this. Oh my god, that means, as Izuku just says this. Yeah, I was a stupid experiment. He said that he wanted to make, and I quote, the perfect being. But to me, I'm just a freak, a monster. And I was just sold off. Apparently, he said I was defective. So, I was brought to New York and to a freaking show. A monster. I was used to kill so many innocent lives as a gladiator called the Reaper. Izuku just sighs and just says this. I don't want to talk anymore. I just hate it. As, wait for a second again. As Nejiri says this. Hey, Izuku, are you, as Izuku just says this. I don't want to talk anymore. As Bako said this. Alright, we know you're a goddamn machine or whatever, but I can't believe I have to say this. It doesn't freaking matter or whatever. Okay? I meant Izuku, not Ijuku. God dang it. I just got mixed up with like Nejiri and Izuku. God dang it. Anyway, Izuku just says this. What? As Ochako says this. Yeah, it doesn't matter who you are. The only thing that matters, that's you. It's you, Izuku. As Izuku, god dang it. Izuku says this. He kind of laughs as Izuku just says this. Thank you, I guess, guys. Wait for a second. Thank you, guys. As everybody says this. Alright, hey Aizawa, are we there yet? As he says this. Sorry, but we're currently still in traffic. As Izuku just looks around and they're currently on a freeway. As Izuku just says this. This is starting to get a bit annoying. Izuku looks in his bag as Izuku just sees some trail mix. Izuku starts shoving it right in his mouth because, well, he's kind of hungry. So, after a while, something weird happens in the freeway. So, while they're on the freeway, they hear the sound of explosions. As Izuku looks over, and it's not Bakugo. As everybody looks over, as they look at Bakugo, as Bakugo said this. Why are you looking at me? As Izuku says this. I thought we heard explode. As they hear another explosion. But this time, it was right near the bus. Apparently, there's a villain there. And I mean several. Several of these villains arrived, some of them wielding several different dangerous quirks, as one of them had like hands all over him, as he says this. Nice to meet you all. We are the League of Villains, and we're here to find the UA students and kill them all. As an example, as I meant Izuku. God dang it, why is it happening? Anyway, Izuku just looks and says this. Wait a minute. League of Villains. Why does it remind me of something? Izuku gets a flashback. As Izuku remembers when he was still in that horrible facility, specifically by Overhaul, Izuku overheard that some of the guards are currently talking about this brand new elite group known as the League of Villains, and some of them say that they're currently trying to find Overhaul and kill him for basically getting the quirk or stealing the quirk. Wait for a second. So, after Izuku reminisces about that time, Izuku looks over as Shigaraki, being a man with the several hands all over his body, grabs a child as he says this. Alright, if the heroes don't arrive, I'm going to be killing this kid. As the woman, that's the child's mother, says this. Hey, don't touch my child! As another villain arrives as he says this. Hey, shut up, you damn pretty face. Do you want to see your child broken in two? Or do you want yourself to be broken in two instead? As he clenches his fist, as Izuku gets a little bit mad, as Aizawa tells everybody to stay in the bus while he's going to be fighting all of them. So, all of the heroes specifically just, well, wait for a second. Specifically, Mr. Aizawa goes outside as he's wearing his full hero costume. As he says this, right, step away from the child and the mother. As all of the villains say this, this is what the heroes just sent out? Just this one guy? As one of the villains laughs as he gets uppercutted right in the face by Aizawa, as he starts using his quirk to cancel out everybody's, or the villain's quirks. They were instantly defeated except for the villain being Shigaraki and the weird looking creature. This creature seems to have like a smoking head, or look like he has like some sort of fiery head. What, and he's also wearing a butler suit, almost similar to maybe a bartender. As wait for a second. As Mr. or Shigaraki, I meant. As Shigaraki says this. Hey, Kodogiri, I need you to summon out the Nomu. As Mr. Aizawa says this. Nomu? What the heck is that? As the Nomu arrives after this man created a portal as the creature comes out. Izuku sees it, and it shook him to his core. It looked like some sort of hybrid. It looks like a muscular man, but also has the face of a bird. And that bird face also has an exposed brain. As Shigaraki says this. Now, Nomu, kill him! As the Nomu starts charging towards him, as he starts getting pummeled to the ground, Aizawa almost looks like he's about to die from blood loss. As Shigaraki says this. Now, let's make you an example. As he gets ready to touch Aizawa, but Izuku comes out of the... wait for a second. Comes out of the bus, as Izuku says this. Hey, pick on somebody your own size. As Shigaraki looks and sees Izuku, as he says this. Why is there a Nomu there? As Kodogiri says this. Yeah, that's definitely a Nomu. As Izuku, god, don't know what is happening to me. Anyway, Izuku just says this. What I said I'm not a Nomu, as he says this. Really, but you really look like one. As Izuku just says this. Anyway, Izuku starts bringing out his lance, as Izuku just stabs the Nomu right in the chest. As Shigaraki says this. You really think that it would actually beat my lovely Nomu? It has a regeneration wait first. It has regeneration, shock absorption, and super strength. Do you really think that it would actually beat it? as Izuku just gets his gun and says this. No, but I do know it's probably going to stutter him a little bit. As Izuku shoots his gun right on the brain of the Nomu, as the Nomu started panicking, as he started hallucinating, hearing kill, 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 as he starts charging towards Shigaraki, because it's a completely mad creature without any emotion now. It's now basically just a walking hunk of death. So, it grabs Shigaraki and tears him in half as it starts looking towards Konagiri. As Konagiri disappears, as the Nomu starts running away, going into the freeway, escaping. So, Izuku follows it as Izuku starts following it around the freeway. As Izuku corners it in a little what do you call it? Corners it in a some sort of like a rundown alleyway. So, after cornering it, Izuku gets ready his gun and lands. As Izuku says this. So, are you ready to die? As the Nomu starts towards him, getting ready to slice him or punch him into the ground. Or should I say, he's going to be punched in, I meant he's going to get punched in the ground because Izuku uses his lance and stabs it on the face of the Nomu, destroying its brain and connection. So, after the Nomu does that, or should I say Izuku does that, the Nomu gets defeated as Izuku starts flying back to the bus. As all of the what do you call it? Wait for a second. As the teachers arrived, specifically from UA, they started bringing Mr. Aizawa back to his senses and bringing him to a hospital. So, after they see Izuku flying back to the area, or should I say, back to the bus, one of them being All Might said this. So, what happened, young boy? As Izuku says this. So, I defeated that, whatever that thing is. Apparently, the villains say, or at least the one that's um, being the ringmaster, said that it was called a Nomu, and apparently it had multiple quirks, so I killed it. Because it seems to be mindless, unless if I shoot it with my gun. As he says this. Really? So where is it? As Izuku says this. Oh, in a back alley over there. Well, pretty rundown. You can't miss it. As he says this. Good. So, after that, they were told to, well, just go back home. For Izuku and for Nejiri's case, they started going back to their apartment. Not really apartment, I meant the dorms. So, after going into the dorms, they started going back to their sleep because it was a pretty tiring day, especially for Izuku. So, Izuku basically goes to sleep. So, I hope you liked the video. Comment and subscribe, and please like and subscribe so you can see more of my content. And I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.